What's good, Internet? My name is Attack Slug, and welcome back to SmackDown vs. Raw 2010 on the Xbox 360. The road to WrestleMania, 16 days remain, and tonight on SmackDown, the Rated R Superstar faces a handicap match of the Brothers of Destruction. How will Edge possibly survive? Anyway, I welcome you to a fine Saturday here on the program. Wrestling news is happening here and there, and there are some things to discuss as we have Mean Mark make his way to the ring, along with Glenn Jacobs, Mayor Kane, etc., etc. First and foremost on my thing here for the news, we have the special guest ring announcer for the Women's Battle Royal at WrestleMania will be one Lillian Garcia. So, congrats to her. Definitely a well-known name in that bit of beardness. We have the person who will be inducting Ivory into the Hall of Fame will be Molly Holly. And considering we just saw Molly at that first ever Women's Royal Rumble, that makes a whole lot of sense considering that era and the matches that they had therein. So, that should be a pretty cool thing, I would imagine. There is that one weirdo on the internet who has some kind of a weird vendetta against Molly Holly, and I'm sure he's not happy, but everybody else is like, yeah, cool, fine. Works for us. Raise the lights. Meanwhile, Kane's just like, I'm just going to stand here in the fog. Don't worry about it, it's fine. It's just a little smoky. It's alright. Give me that pyro, Kane. Give me that pyro, baby. I wonder, speaking of pyro, I wonder if the greatest Royal Rumble in Saudi Arabia will have any pyro. Because, granted, they cut things out of their budget here in the States, right? But if all this money is being put up by all these very rich people from Saudi Arabia, you would think they would want something like pyro for their ultimate huge wrestling show. Wouldn't that make a lot of sense? To have that show be the biggest, grandest spectacle of them all, etc., etc. So, I'd say don't be surprised if A, there's pyro at WrestleMania this year. I would hope. It's WrestleMania after all. But also, in that event, which will be on the network, would also have some pyro. And then they won't do any more until next year. Until next WrestleMania. Here in New Jersey, if you will. Doing them chops. Fighting them boys. Anyway, there was some stuff. It was an interview or some kind of a radio deal or something from one at Triple H about how he's unsure on how the negotiations with one Brock Lesnar are going on right now. And I'm like, I don't know that Triple H is really the point man for that he would be the one involved in that stuff. You would think Vince, more than anything else, would be the one on that for the Brock negotiations. But also, that whole thing feels kind of kayfabe to me. Like, oh, we don't know what he's doing. He might come back to UFC and whatever else. Like, that whole thing feels very kayfabe-ish for Brock and his contract. Like, you're playing into, oh, he might leave, so you should boo him. And I'm like, I don't know. Like, that's not really, I don't know. That's one of those things, like, I understand why and where they're going with that. But at the same time, it kind of is not really like, we know you want Roman, so all of these plans to thwart people thinking that they're going to want Roman and not want Brock doing cool stuff, I don't know that it's going to really work. I mean, it seems to be working a little bit, considering the reaction on Raw this week. A little bit. But we know the end game. So if the end game is the main event, is the last match on the card, WrestleMania, is Roman Reigns standing tall with that title, I think folks are going to boo. The Mania crowd is a hardcore crowd that flies around from all over the world to come see that show. And generally, not all the time, but generally, the more hardcore your people are for wrestling, the more they kind of don't like Roman Reigns. And in my experience, from what I've seen on the internet, and I'm on the internet a lot. Anyway, but going back to the greatest Royal... Kane, what are you doing? Kane, what are you doing? Going back to the greatest Royal Rumble, if you will. We have a confirmation from somewhere. Perhaps a rumor, but I saw it as a confirmation. Now, we already knew. There will be 7 title matches. And none of those were for either of the women's titles, right? So we knew that. But I also saw additional confirmation there will be no women on that show at all. Because it's kind of a backwards type country that doesn't want... like, what? Come on. And the irony there is the fact that they spent the last 2 years going on and on about this historic women's revolution. It's so historic. But for one of the biggest shows of the year, no women. So, I wonder if Steph's going to even be there for that. I wonder if she's even going to fly overseas for that. Or not. Very curious. Very curious. But yeah, that was on some news site that I'd seen this morning that, yep, that's kind of confirmed. So I'm like, oh. I mean, I'm not surprised by it, but it's just so backwards. Especially considering all of the very, very, you know, big steps they've taken in the past year, 2 years. In terms of having women just do, you know, all the same stuff as the guys. But hey, they aren't the ones paying the bills, right? They aren't the ones paying the bills at this event. So, that kind of is what it is. And if those rich dudes want to do that, and then... oh, no! Double choke slam. Good God. Good God. This is just a mugging. It's that damn numbers game. That damn numbers game. Jesus. Anyway. There was some stuff on a house show that was the reappearance of Bray Wyatt, still looking a lot like Bray Wyatt. But as we know, house shows are not canon. So, it kind of, like, whatever they do at a house show, unless it's actually a title changing hands, kind of doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. Because it's not part of the actual story. It is there for the fans at the house show. And a lot of that stuff is, alright, well, they're already advertised to be there. You kind of, regardless of the actual storyline, they're advertised to be there. So they're going to be there, hopefully. Unless there's an injury or whatever else. So, that to me is not particularly surprising and whatever else. But we'll see what they end up doing with Bray Wyatt. If he gets a full repackage or a minor repackage or what they're going to do with him. I'm kind of curious. Taker, best pure striker in the game. Nope, rolling out. Sorry. Sorry, Take. No dice. No freaking dice. Dead man. Why is the ref out of the ring? Why did I... wait, no, he just went invisible. I'm sorry. I'm confused. Hey, Kane. Edge fighting back with everything he has. Everything he has in this matchup against these two men. These two monsters. Speaking of monsters, though, Braun Strowman. The rumor is that they will give him a tag team partner for that match against the Bar at Mania. But we're not going to find out who that partner is until WrestleMania. They're going to keep that under wraps, heavily under wraps, top secret, until the actual day of the show. So, another double... just pin him. Just pin him at this point. Like, seriously. I'm not going to win this match. It is impossible. Impossible. I don't see it happening. And they didn't give me an additional goal, so it kind of doesn't matter. This is just Maria punishing Edge for his ultimate opportunism, indiscretions, and whatever else. So, whatevskis. Yep. One of those, Edge. One of those. They're just in there taunting. Alright, well. That's cool. Oh, just can't even. Can't even with this nonsense. I'm sorry, Kane. I just can't. How about you both continue getting these light grapples, because like, I actually have the time to do them and not get beat up. Maybe. Nope. Nope. Kane's got a signature. He's going for that Oklahoma. The Braun Strowman. That's gotta be Kane. Seize the opportunity. What? Aha. Avoided it once again. Yep. Thinking. And that's kind of it for news today. I'll be very curious to see where Raw goes on Monday, and that sort of thing. Obviously, it's going to be very, very curious to see the fallout from Daniel Bryan and Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens on SmackDown this week, considering the firing of those guys. Should be quite curious. So, if anything, that should hopefully boost the ratings for SmackDown quite a bit, considering the return of Daniel Bryan. So, now they might have him off the show for a week because of his injuries from the powerbomb on the apron, but if they were smart, they wouldn't. But again, it really depends on how they're going to sell that to folks. I don't know. Another one, DJ Khaled. Another one, says JR. Having me hit one signature here. Not one. And do you know why? Roll up. 1, 2. I stole one. He stole one. Edge stole one.
Edge truly is the crown jewel on SmackDown. What a victory.
I don't know how he did it, but he beat two behemoths, undermanned and underpowered.
I wonder if this is going to prolong Maria's backlash, though.
We'll have to wait till next week to find out. Good night, everybody.
I have no idea how I did that either, so that makes 2 of us, JR. That makes 2 of us. On this day, thinking.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're ready to serve up another edition of WWE SmackDown. I'm good old JR, Jim Ross, alongside my colleague, Taz.
And that's the Taz to you, Mr. Ross. Anyway, Edge has gone from king of the world to, well, scum of the earth. Unfairly, I think.
Unfairly? What about the abuse of power? The infidelity? Edge deserves the potholes on his road to WrestleMania.
Show some respect, JR. Come on, I'm begging you. He used to be in charge of SmackDown.
It'll take me quite a while to forget his deceit and corruption. I'm surprised you're so forgiving, Taz.
I mean, Taz is the heel announcer, so of course he is. Of course he is. Why wouldn't he be? Oh, it's a phone call. What do we got?
Quit calling me. It's like my phone rings every 5 minutes. Can't you get it through your thick skull that I don't want to talk to you ever again?
And I do mean ever again. Oh no, Mr. Kennedy.
I'm really sorry to interrupt your crying session there, sport, but I have some important news. Since Maria is utterly disgusted by you, she said I could pick your match for you tonight. Now, I could give you more details about it, but I really don't want to ruin the surprise. All I can say is, have fun.
Oh good. I'm sure he will do to me what I did to him, which was a 3-on-1 handicap match. And if I had to make a wild guess, perhaps Big Daddy V might be involved in there in some capacity, because that sounds about right for a video game. But that will be tomorrow here on the show. Bit of a short one today, and I got more videos to film. That's kind of how things do here on the weekend. Thanks for watching. More videos every freaking day. See you next time. I'm Attack Slug, and I am out. Peace.